Hello everybody, good evening and welcome to That's Football for Carabao Cup action as Middlesbrough take a 1-0 lead to Chelsea. Can they do it? I don't think they can. I'd love it if they did, but it's going to be big for them. Obviously, Chelsea, I think they will turn this around. This is for Wembley. It's 1-0 in the first leg. This is the second leg. We will get a result. One of these teams will be going to Wembley. I'd love Carrick to do it as an ex-Manchester United. I believe bordering on legend, certainly a great, but it's going to be tough. It's going to be very, very tough. 1-0 at half-time, basically, and the second half's in London. We're in London, aren't we? So, look, I hope he can do it, but I do... Can Carrick get to Wembley? I suppose that's the story. We will see. But yeah, I think Chelsea are going to be too strong. Middlesbrough obviously had those injury issues as well from the last game a couple of weeks ago. So yeah, it's going to be tough for them, but I hope they can give it a game. I think the longer Chelsea don't score, the better. Let's have a quick look at the team news. In fact, you've got it going round the screen for you anyway, so you will see it there. But good evening, everybody. I hope you're here. Nice to be back doing some midweek watch-alongs. Football's basically back now. You've got, last week was a bit of a dead week, but we're doing Liverpool at Fulham tomorrow. We're doing Spurs, Man City on Friday in the FA Cup. And then I think from Tuesday next week, it's Premier League action midweek. And then the following week, I think it's the Champions League, isn't it? So, yeah, it's all going off. Can't wait. Love having the football back. Love being with you lot, with this great community. But Chelsea are lining up with Petrovic, Disasi, Thiago Silva, Colwill, Chilwell, Casido, Fernandes, and then Mudryk, Palmer, Sterling and Broja. So a little bit more attacking. Conor Gallagher is actually on the bench, so they've definitely gone more attacking in this game. And on that bench, actually, I mean, they shouldn't need it, but on that bench, you've got Badiashile, Madueke, Chukwuemeka, Gallagher, and then a bunch of players I don't really know a lot about, if I'm being honest with you. Middlesbrough, Glover, Clark, Fry, Vandenberg, Engel, Crooks, Barlaser, Howson, Hackney, Force and Rogers up front. Not Roger, it's Rogers for them. So yeah, interesting how it's going to line up today. It's a great community, says Joel. It really is. And thank you everybody who gets involved with it. You're absolute legends. Enjoying getting back watching live football action. And I've got a brilliant website for you that we're going to duck in and out of as well. I've been speaking about, I'm fascinated with this website. I was talking about it on the podcast today. That wasn't a cough. That was an intake of breath. And a bit of spit went down the wrong hole. Andrew T's just ordered his air up. You can get 10% off with the code Goldbridge. Check it out. I need some bloody air. I need some air in, not air up. Air in. Right, we're about to start here. The website, I was talking about it on Goldbridge Saves Football. Thank you, everybody. We're building a great community here. And if you enjoy this community, make sure you become part of the Goldbridge Saves Football podcast community. You can listen to me in your ear when you're having a walk, when you're in the garden, when you're on the way to work, when you're on a train. Check it out on Spotify and iTunes and support it. But I was talking about this website I found at the weekend, which is basically cabin crew of various airlines speaking about what celebrities are like in real life. So behind the camera, behind the facade, who's a complete knobhead. So we'll be looking at that a little bit later because I quite like that. But hopefully not too much because we might be in for a good game here. And we've kicked off early. We're not kicked off early. We've kicked off on time, but we're up for it here. And of course, thank you everyone who's getting involved. Can I just also say, I won't say it that much, but we're 95,000. We are on the road to 1.1 million. Some people think this channel one day will surpass United Stand, which is on the road to 2 million. So I'm not so sure about that. But get involved with the community. Everybody's welcome here. It's about everything in football on here. I was moaning about VAR again today. There's daily content. Make sure you subscribe. Click the button in the bottom right-hand corner and get involved. You're very, very, very welcome, of course. Right. We're up and running here. Am I right in saying that if this finished 1-1, it goes straight to penalties? That's the only thing I'm not too sure about. If it goes straight to penalties, if it's 1-1. Jacob says, I love hearing you moan. I hope it's not in a sex way, Jacob. I don't want to be in your dreams and I don't want to know about them. Yeah, it goes straight to penalties. Thank you very much. No VAR as well, which is something I'm a massive fan of. So big positive on that one as well. Sorry, Goldbridge typing away there, but I'm just pinning in the chat. If you want to become a member and have a badge next to your name like Dougie, it does look good. Does look good. Support the channel, support the community like Gray, who's one of our members. That's what I understood from Wikipedia at least. Cube, not Gray. I've even got my glasses on. There's no excuses there. But yeah, it'd be great to see some members in the chat in 2024. Neil Adkins is there. He says, love you, Mark. And Philip Sutton says, come on, bro, Borough. Yeah, a couple of members in there. Love to see those badges. Thank you very much for your support. Our intention with the community support from people who are members this year is, well, I don't think I'd be lying or keeping a secret. Looking at doing quite a big tour this year, but not United Stand. I've got an idea for a tour. I want it to be very much around general football, and we will look to do that through the, well, certainly partially fund it through the members and stuff like that. Graham Sooner says, we're in London, aren't we? And Squirrel's a member. He says, don't talk to me about Squirrel. I've got to say, I know you're a member. Thank you very much. But if you saw my video on TikTok, on Twitter earlier, I don't think I can deal with many comments from Squirrel. This is the anniversary of the day I ran over Steve the Squirrel. I don't know whether he was called Steve. I called him Steve posthumously, or whatever they call it, after death. But ran a squirrel over on this day about 4 years ago. And there's not a year I don't think about it. I don't think about him every day. I mean, you know, I've got bills to pay and stuff. But yeah, it was just sad. There's nothing I could do. You know, people say you could have swerved. The car was quite expensive. And, you know, what's more important, the car and me or the squirrel? I think the Green Cross Code man says, or somebody says, you do not have to swerve out the way of a squirrel. In fact, anybody who watched the program I'm going to allude to here, Fool Me Once, apparently, and this, don't blame me, blame Netflix. If a dog's on the road, you should swerve to avoid it. If it's a cat, you don't have to. Cat lovers are going to be fuming about that. What do you think about that? If there's a cat on the road, you don't have to swerve to avoid it. But if there's a dog on the road, then you should try to. I don't think you're going to get in trouble if you don't swerve anyway, because you can just say, if I'd swerved, I'd gone in front of a car or onto a pavement. But apparently that's true. Zippy hates cats. What's George? Wasn't he a pink hippo? Oh, that was good. I was thirsty. I don't know why. You know, I'll drink it. No, not anything. But you know when we used to play lunchtime football, right? I never really liked water as a kid. You play lunchtime football, and then at the end of playtime, you're absolutely knackered. And they used to have these row of taps, and all you'd see is a load of lads with their mouth under the tap, drinking like they're drinking, you know, the best drink in the world, and it was just water. You know when you're just really thirsty? I don't think there's a better drink than water when you're really thirsty. Where does Let Him Speak Simon come from, says Fisk. Let him speak, Simon. Let him speak, Simon. It comes from TalkSport, and it comes from Jim White and Simon Jordan. Let him speak, Simon. Middlesbrough are good. Well, it's a slow start from Chelsea, and the big problem that Chelsea have got here is we've had 5 minutes, and Chelsea look quite comfortable. And Chelsea don't score many goals. So this for... do you have to swerve to avoid a polar bear, Mark, says Hannah. If I saw a polar bear in the road, I ain't swerving. Because you know what would happen? I'll swerve, hit the curb, get a flatty, bang my head, airbag doesn't go off, I'm slightly concussed, breaks the window, polar bear, unharmed, just walks along, reaches in and tears me apart. So no, I would say, I don't want to get in trouble with the RSPCA again. I'm not getting involved. If I speak, I'll be in trouble. George is a baby in the jungle, played by Brendan Fraser, says Nelly. And Owen is a new member. Thank you very much, Owen. He's our first member tonight. Thank you very much. Get your badge in the chat. You're an absolute legend. Thank you for that. Would you rather sign Isak or Tony for your club, says Kung. Well, I will do a poll for you, mate. Thank you very much for your super chat. And it's such a good super chat. I am going to say, who would you sign for your club? And we'll put it to a vote. Was it Isak or Tony? I will give you an answer to it. I'm not scared about that. But Kieran Parsons has put a super chat in as well. Very generous of you, Kieran. He says, hi, Mark. Early topic, but I think Klopp is very smart, giving youngsters a lot of minutes in the Premier League and providing a good pathway to the first team whilst fighting for a title. I think it's smart and good for the future. Kieran, have you been listening to the podcast today? I said exactly this, and I completely agree with you. I don't think there is a club in the Premier League at the moment with a better pathway to the first team who can be successful. I don't think Pep can blood as many youngsters as Klopp does, because I think Pep has more pressure to play some of the bigger stars, whereas I think with Klopp, he's more willing to do it. It just suits the way that he plays and develops more. I think Klopp is a better developer of players than Pep. Pep's very good at it, but I think Klopp, you know, you look at the team, you know, I don't know whether Curtis Jones and Harvey Elliott are homegrown. I always see them as homegrown. I don't necessarily think they are, but they're very young players. Obviously, you had Bradley in there. We've seen Kwanzaa this season. And to be fair, like, Gravenberch's a young player. I know he's been brought in, but he's still young. They're still developmental. Klopp's very good at buying players who are decent and making them top class, world class. Good play by Chelsea here into Mudryk. Middlesbrough are playing deep, though. They've got something to pretend. Defend. Owen B, welcome to the Members Club, you legend. Thank you very much. And Wookie says, Mark, if you're into NFL, would you say Buffalo Bills are the Tottenham Hotspur of NFL? Mate, I will do a Super Bowl watch-along, but same as last year, I'm gutted. All the teams I want to do well are going out. I don't want the bloody Kaiser Chiefs in the final again. I'm bored. I don't like the Kaiser Chiefs. They're like fucking Man City. I don't want... Mahomes is De Bruyne. They're very good, but I don't want the Kaiser Chiefs to win again. And if they're in the Super Bowl, it makes it less good. And I love my Super Bowl stream, but if the Kaiser Chiefs are in it, the Kansas Chiefs, sorry, then I'll be frustrated. And I wanted the Bills to beat them. Yeah. I like Josh Allen. I like the Bills, but they're out. They're out. Middlesbrough get it out as well. It's the Kansas City Chiefs, sorry. Would you take DeMarco at United? Heard he was linked, says Dig. I don't believe it. I don't believe that. Kieran Parsons says, I love the podcast, just thought it was a good topic and thought to weigh in on it, but think it's really smart by Jurgen Klopp, says Kieran. Thank you very much, mate. Thanks for supporting the podcast as well. You're absolute legend. Trust me, Mark, we in America all hate the Chiefs too, says Jake. I mean, they're very good, but I just don't want them to win. I don't want them to win. There is a chance that... Who are they playing? The Ravens. Apparently the Ravens might beat them, but the Chiefs will find a way. They'll find a way. Saka the Goat, thanks for being a member. That's 3 tonight. Thank you very much. Get those badges in, and thanks for your support, legends. And Nelly says, speaking of the jungle, how would you survive if lost? You know what, Nelly? I think if, as much as I give it the big un, I'm also not afraid to say that my farts smell. And people give it the big un. You know, you get down my local pub on a Friday night, and you're there with Dave after he's had 3 pints of Madry, and he'll tell you, you know, I don't want to be stranded in a jungle. Take me right now. Take me in an Apache helicopter. Drop me off for the weekend. I'll love it. I'll take it on. But honestly, if you put me in a jungle, I'd probably sit and cry for an hour. That's just who I am. I think I would. Goal! No, over the bar. Over the bar. Chilwell went for the ball. Wants a penalty. Shut up. VAR don't exist now, Chilwell. It's a ball over the top. It's a great run. This is a great run by Chilwell. Diagonal run, in behind. He's right. He is right. He wins the ball ahead of the goalkeeper. The goalkeeper clatters him a little bit late. I mean, if I'm being honest, that's worse than the Areola foul, which shouldn't have been a penalty. I don't think that's a penalty, by the way. I don't think it is a penalty. I'm just saying it's stupid giving those sort of things. Mark, I once ran over a duck. There was nothing I could do as was single lane road and had 2 traffic islands behind me. Okay. Damien, that sounds to me like there's something you could have done. If you're on a single lane... surely could have just stopped. As an American, how is NFL being received in the UK, says Joel. I don't know. I don't know because I like it. So I like it, so I monitor it. And one of my best friends is actually going over with his dad to Vegas. Like, been planning it for a couple of years. So I'm lucky that I know people who like it, but I don't really know how well it's received. Also, Will likes it, who does the podcast with me. Loz, who used to be on the Kickoff, he likes it. So I know quite a few people who like it. So I'm not a good person to ask about how it's received. Wookie the Cookie is a new member as well. Thanks very much for supporting the channel tonight and becoming a member. Get your badge in. Squirrel's rubbing it in. He says, rest in peace, Steve the Squirrel. I think it may have been my dad. Don't. It hurts. It hurts. But look, speaking of the jungle, if I was dropped into the jungle, I'm not afraid to say that there would be a period of time where I would get really stressed. And then I think I would calm down and get pragmatic. But yeah, I wouldn't instantly start going, right, I need to kill a badger so I can use it as a hat and food. And yeah, I mean, I was watching The Revenant last night, and what a film! What a film! And T Bliss says NFL is just futuristic rugby. I was watching The Revenant last night with DiCaprio. It's a great film. I love it. And basically, he falls off a big cliff on a horse while he's being chased by a load of Indians, and the horse dies, and he cuts it open. It's freezing cold. It's snowing. It's freezing cold, and he cuts the horse open, and pulls out everything, and then gets inside, and keeps warm. I suppose it's survival of the fittest, really. Here we go. Sterling cuts it back. Broha, goal. 1-1. That's an early goal. That's an early goal for Chelsea. That's not good for Borough. Yeah. Hi, Mark. British breakfast or Indian dinner, says Ankit. It's a close one. But, oh, offside. Big call. Offside. Is it offside? They've said they've got aggregate 1-1, but then they've got 1-0 here. He's on. He looks onside to me. If that's been chalked off for offside, have they given it or not? It looks onside. There's no VAR, is there? Well, aggregate says 1-1, but on the other one it says 1-0. Oh, what am I on about? I'm an idiot. I'm an absolute idiot. It's second leg. It's second leg. It looked onside anyway. It's second leg. What's your Premier League top 4 prediction, says Reese's channel. Well, it'll be Arsenal, Liverpool and City. And I think Chelsea and... not Chelsea. I think it'll be Villa or Spurs. That's going to be really difficult for Borough now. It's going to be very difficult for Borough now. I'm an absolute idiot. But I don't mind admitting it. Oh, Borough nearly scored. Rodgers. He gets in the box. And really, he probably should score. From there, he's hit it as well as he probably can. No, he's not. He's scuffed it a little bit. Are you going to do a watch-along for Liverpool against Norwich, says Timothy? Wasn't planning on it, mate. Yeah, I wasn't planning on it. So 1-1 here. That early goal is a bit of a killer for Chelsea, for Middlesbrough. But you can't argue about it. It was probably, well, it was well constructed. And that swings it massively into Chelsea's favour now. Of course, if they can keep it 1-0 and take it to penalties, they're still not out of it. But it's a big shift in momentum for Chelsea now. Can be a little bit more patient. But I think Middlesbrough gave a good account of themselves in the home tie, and they may be able to do it again in the second tie. You know what? I was talking about this on the podcast. Check it out, Goldbridge Saves Football. But I do think there's an element, and I'm going to be very even-handed here. I really wanted to bring this in as a football topic and get your thoughts on it. Do you think football has changed, or do you think it's always been like this? Because when I lived in Ireland, and I lived in Ireland from 98 to 2003, I didn't get to go to Old Trafford much because every bit of money I spent on beer and going out. So I never really had that much money when I lived in Ireland, but I had a great time. And United were good. I suppose that helps. But no United fan I ever knew was negative. Like, it was always good. And then, obviously, the last 10 years it's been bad. But I do notice people in our fan base that almost revel in us being bad. They've almost become accustomed to it, that they enjoy it. And I was talking about it on the podcast today about Arsenal fans. They seem to want to find an angle to be negative about Arteta. When you're in a title race again, you're in the Champions League, you're in a much better position than you've been in for probably 10 years. And I think some Chelsea fans do it as well. Do you think that's always been there, where you've got this sort of minority or whatever of football fans? I sense that there'll be some Chelsea fans a little bit disappointed that they've scored because they want Poch out or something like that. I do notice it a lot. I don't know. I just wanted to throw it out there. Do you think supporting your club has changed? And maybe it is a recent thing. Obviously, Player FC is a recent thing where you've got people who support players over clubs. That's definitely something new in the last 10 years. But yeah, what are your thoughts on that? Let me know. Timothy, yeah, we've got that one, haven't we, as well? Interestingly, our first poll of the night, who would you sign for your club, Isak or Tony? 56% have gone with Isak and 44% have gone with Tony. I think it's actually a really good poll. That was a super chat poll as well, so you've got your money's worth there. Isak's 24 and Tony's going to be 28, so a 4-year age gap probably plays into that a little bit, if I'm being honest. But who would I go for out of those if I had them at Man United? I think I'd go for Isak as well. I think he's just got more to his game in relation to the build-up. But who'd be more suitable for Arsenal? I actually think Tony. I think they just need an out-and-out goal scorer. I tell you what we did do on the podcast today. Signing of the season. I'm not going to get into it too much, but Cole Palmer was in there. When you look at what he's done, you've got to say he's a contender for signing of the season. One player we didn't put in, Samuel says, Kudus. Yeah, we didn't. We didn't do it. Linda says she'd love Isak at United. Don't think supporting has changed. I just think give people a platform to talk and not show their face, and they're a bit gobby, says Nick P. Who's going to win the Carabao Cup? I think Chelsea and Liverpool will be a good final. If I was a Liverpool fan, you're obviously going to love it, but the concern for Liverpool is just the volume of games. There's always one team that ends up in everything, isn't there? United were a little bit like it last year. We weren't expected to get top four, so top four was like a race for us. Top four was a prize. Carabao Cup final, FA Cup final, and I think Europa League we went out in the knockout stage. So at this time of the year last year, we were in everything. You're playing every few days, and that's what Liverpool are going to be doing. And it's great as a fan because you're playing so regularly, but it can bite you in the arse. Man United 8888 says, choose one from Kane, Mbappe and Haaland to join United. Well, Mbappe's the best of the three, and Haaland's the best striker in the world. But I think Kane might be most suitable for what Man United need. Good question. With WWE moving to Netflix, including Raw and pay-per-views, do you think it's inevitable the Premier League does the same thing? Netflix or their own thing, says Thomas. I think football clubs would like to do it, Thomas, but the Premier League have just signed a new deal till 2029. So it's not that clubs don't want to be on Netflix or have their own, online season passes where everyone can buy them. Of course they do. But the Premier League at the moment has them locked into that. Jamie says Vicario is the signing of the season. He was certainly in my top 3, mate, on the podcast. So 1-0 here. Chelsea back in it. 1-1 on aggregate. 22 minutes gone. They can be a little bit more patient now. This is for a place at Wembley. And look, you know what? I don't think Poch will do it. But imagine if Chelsea win the Carabao Cup. That's replicating what Ten Hag did in his first season at United. I don't think he's going to get top 4. I think that might be a little bit too much for Chelsea this season. Unless, and we haven't spoken about this, unless the Benzema thing is true. I can't remember who was it was linking Chelsea to Benzema today. WWF was amazing, says Andy Tate. Yeah, it was. Cole Palmer slips on the edge of the box. Still got it. You know what Middlesbrough could do with? A really quick player on the break. Josh says, hey Mark, love your work. Who's the best player you've ever seen live, not on T, actually live at a game? Well, I'm lucky. I've seen quite a few. I've seen Gaza live. Fantastic player. Basically, I saw any decent player that was around from probably 88 to 92. I would have seen, because I went to a lot of games then. And then after that, pretty much every United player. I've seen Ronaldo, of course, Rooney, Roy Keane, Cantona. Non-United players, it's difficult because you see, I've seen Henry play and I've seen Shearer play, but they might not have played well in the game that I saw them, if you know what I mean. Gascoigne was very special around 89. I've not seen Pele, you cheeky bastard, Johnny. Do you want to get blocked? I'll block you. I'm Andy. One click and you're gone. I'm going to wipe you out like Thanos. Do you work out, says Hyans? No. Not in the way that you would think work out. I do fitness stuff, but I'm only maintaining an established physique. I'm not looking for, guns or anything like that. There's just no point. Fair play to people who do, but it's a lot of hard work for something that really is not going to give me anything. Nice ball in behind. Mudryk doesn't quite get there. Would Rashford make Borough a better team, says Tyler Wilson. Yeah, definitely. It'd be very good for Rashford. Rashford would be very good for Middlesbrough, but so would Kylian Mbappe. Anyone with a bit of pace on the break would be perfect. Hannah says, and she is a member as well. Thank you, Hannah. I was there for the Van Persie volley against Villa in the away end. We were all applauding. I can't lie. I remember that Ronaldo R9 at Real Madrid. At Old Trafford, he was applauded off. Just, it's amazing when that happens. And that's the great thing of football, I think. When an opposition player does something or has a game that is just beyond rivalry. And it sometimes does happen. What are your thoughts on Calvin Phillips to West Ham, says McPherson? Well, it's a good move for him, but what I find incredible about that is that he's going to be playing in the midfield next to Ward-Prowse, who's better than him, and yet Phillips will go to the Euros. Surely the best player you've seen is Victor, says Sen. I haven't paused there because I'm being rude, by the way. I was just trying to read something else. I've seen some amazing things, yes. Never rated Phillips as a player, says Luke. Well, he needs to get his career on track, doesn't he? He's wasted a year and a half. I mean, he's earned good money, but yeah. Qdis says, McTominay's doing bits at the moment. No. Goal, Chelsea. Bad defending. Enzo Fernandez. It's 2-0. And unfortunately, Borough are not making this a contest at all. 2-0 to Chelsea. They're basically at Wembley after half an hour, and we might have to go to the website because I don't see Borough getting back into this already. It's over, says Nathan, and I think you might be right. It's bad defending. It's just really bad defending. Not tracking the runners. It's like watching Man United. I mean, there is a quality gap here. It starts on the right-hand side. Cross comes in. Bit of a look from Broher, and there's Enzo Fernandez, but they're all queuing up. I don't know where the Middlesbrough players are. You'd think they'd be defending for their lives. If Enzo Fernandez doesn't get that, there's another 2 Chelsea players behind him. And, yeah, it's 2-0. It was Disasi who was attacking as the right-back. Ankit says, why is hatred so prominent now? It's disturbing. What you're referring to, Ankit? I'm intrigued. OP Chanzi says, Inter just won another trophy with Darmian, Mkhitaryan and Sanchez. The United Deadwood should just play everywhere elsewhere. Better for both parties, says OP. Thank you very much. Chelsea found their level, says Maka Lover. I've just had a WhatsApp here about I mean, what this is absolute nonsense. Manchester United are definitely open to selling Anthony for the right price in the upcoming window. What a load of crap. Sorry, it's transfer deadline day, isn't it? So, I found this website, by the way. This could be interesting to you. It might not be, but Middlesbrough on the break here. Come on, you got to be quicker. You got to move it quicker. Oh my God! They're on the break and he's tackled himself. Is that the standard of the Championship? Flipping hell! Absolute joke. You're on the break and you tackle yourself. They might not have a break like that again. Ankit says, some sick fan channels need to lose for manager out, says Ankit. Well, some of them grew off that, didn't they? As I've always said, people try and say negative stand, but the biggest audiences we've had were like Europa League final when we won it. Anyway, as for negative stand, That's Football's got nearly 1.1 million subscribers. How the hell how have we grown on negativity? We're just a general football channel as well. Oh, Arteta. Oh, Klopper. Oh, Tanaga. Oh, Potter. Oh, Anja. Get your Minja. Oh. Yeah, people are idiots. They don't understand it, do they? It's community that we grow on. Hi from Uruguay for Sundo. Love that. I love the fact that you get people from all... Let us know where you're watching from. Actually, we have got an eye on the game, but I found this... Well, it could be 3. Straight at the keeper from Enzo. Could have had his second goal there. What's this? I've never found this. So this is a proper website, okay? I'm going to tell you the name of the website, and basically, we're watching the match. Don't worry, but we like to bring a little bit of stuff in, and I'm not getting sued by any celebrities because the website I'm going to give the details of as well. But we've got people watching from Minneapolis. Hey, I mentioned that on Driving with Goldbridge. Minneapolis Airport last year seized a load of vagina contracting liquid. I didn't even know you could get that. That was a news story from last year. It's called Professional Pilots Rumour Network, and it's a forum. Okay, and it's a forum for people who work in the aviation industry, i.e. cabin crew. So when you're on a plane, I ain't getting on no plane. When you're getting on a plane and you fly into America or India or wherever, and you've got the stewards who show you to your seat and get you a drink, this is their forum. And basically they're talking about celebrities and who are the nicest ones. So I'll read you some of them comments. Ankit says, that's why I love you. Genuine quality. Thank you very much. Amjad's from Morocco. Belfast, says Martin. He's from Belfast. I can't do it. I can't do Belfast, but I sort of try to do it. And today in Belfast, it's 2-0 to Chelsea. And Michael Carrick is struggling here on his way to Wembley. Does that sound like I'm from Belfast? Hi Mark, what's your thoughts on jerk chicken? I like it, Ewan. I like it. I do like it. Chelsea are pounding forward here. This could be 3. Disarcy. Stop the clock. Stop the clock. I tell you what, you know Borough are bad when Disarcy looks like bloody... What's his name? I can't remember it. Cafu. It's not good enough. It's 3-0. Lovely finish. Lovely finish, but it's just too easy. Middlesbrough are playing like they've got 9 men. Yeah, lazy. Lazy. just not good enough. I said this when Newcastle played Sunderland at Sunderland in the FA Cup. I said there's a growing void between the Championship and the Premier League that I've not noticed in years. I've never known it like this. The gap between the Premier League and the Championship is absolutely huge this now. It didn't used to be this big. And, you know, we've seen it with Luton. We've seen it with Sheffield United. The Premier League is brilliant. It's absolutely brilliant. And it's very competitive. But I think the downside of that is the Championship is just miles behind. Miles behind. You know, when Newcastle are playing Sunderland at Sunderland and there's only a division between them, that game should have been a lot closer. And Newcastle just, you know, easy. Chelsea are 3-0 up here. It's not even half time. And it's men against boys. It really is. Zippy says that those Borough fans may as well leave now, beat the traffic. I hope they've got a night in London planned. I hope they've had a couple of days down, go and see Big Ben and get on the wheel. The what do they call it? It's not called the big wheel. The London Eye. Yeah. Eunice says, my mum's got a crush on you. She's only human. Michael Carrick was a game away from being labelled the next big thing. That's how thin on the ground new English managers are, says Nick P. And Kieran Parsons says, follow-up to earlier topic, did see a debate that may be good for podcasts, but do you think Mikel has a reluctance to use youngsters? I personally don't. Arteta. No, I think he will use youngsters. I just think they've got to be good enough. Yeah. Anyway, let me just start reading some of this to you. So, who are the nicest celebrities? These are direct quotes from a forum of people who work as, passenger crew on planes. I need to just find some that you will know the people of. Okay, I don't want that because that's like from 2006. Some of you wouldn't even be born. Okay. Need to find people. Okay, this one says, recent encounters on planes. Catherine Jenkins, the nation's sweetheart, was not so much in evidence. Really unpleasant, actually. Stephen Fry, absolute delight. A charming gent who actually seemed rather shy. Alvin Stardust, really chatty and pleasant. Don't know who that is. Boy George, always a danger meeting a hero, but he did not disappoint. Really down to earth and polite. Nigel Slater, top bloke who seemed genuinely pleased that had all his books and his TV series. Never heard of you. Don't know who that is. Another one here. This is cabin crew who work on planes, talking about celebrities. Richard Branson, very nice, approachable and considerate. Robert De Niro, very pleasant, funny and friendly. He was wearing a wig as a disguise. Kevin Costner, very reserved but polite. I learned the next day that his wife had just filed for divorce. John Grisham, who writes books, very friendly, polite, approachable. And I don't know who that is. Barbara Niven, never heard of her. There are some footballer ones here. I'm just trying to find. Paul McCartney sent his assistant ahead to say that under no circumstances would be doing autographs or photos. Sir Paul then boarded and spent a long time stood at the front of the aircraft. He only sat down after the entire cabin crew recognised him. Make of that what you will. I don't know. I don't know whether I believe some of these. I don't know. Please do subscribe to the channel, by the way. Bottom right-hand corner. That'd be me. If I'm on a plane, I get up and walking up and down the aisle in the hope that someone recognises me. Making eye contact with everyone. You know when you're on the plane and the air stewardess goes around looking under the seats? I just do that in the hope that someone notices me. I'll go up and I'll go, it is. Yeah, it's me. What a prat. 4-0. Oh, my God. What a prat. 4-0. This is embarrassing for Carricky. Wow. 4-0, 41 minutes. Absolutely unbelievable. And it's all from their inability to play out from the back. It's like watching a five-a-side team that's pissed. It's really bad. Like, look at what's he trying to do? I'm sure he's just cost him a goal already. It's so comical. Absolutely comical defending. What's your best flavoured pot noodle? Says LFC Gamer. I haven't had one in years, mate. Oh my God, it could be 5. This, you know what? It's game over, but it could be. This is worth watching because it could end up being 8 or 9. Zippy says they're crying into their palmos. Oh, what's just gone on with my telly? You can't currently watch TV as there's an issue with the connection between this mini box and your Sky. Fucking Virgin again! I've had enough of it! Every bloody day this week, Virgin goes down. You're fucking rubbish. That's it. That's the last time. You're finished. You're gone. You can get out. I've had enough of it. All the bloody time. I'm watching The Revenant last night. The bear attack. Oh, there's no connection. Rubbish. That's the last direct debit you're getting from me. I'm telling you now, you're done. You're gone. Get out. Absolute twats. They're rubbish. They're really bad. Oh, it's back now. Back now. You know what? It could have been the weather. Could have been the weather, to be fair. Let's calm down. I need to go on that website. Oh, I've never met such a rude person in real life. He's all there about the community. We gave him a tea that was cold and he went bloody mad. He was calling us all sorts and PG Tibbs. I'm nice in real life. You know, I'm all about the community. I'm all about the community. Four 0. 4-0. It is bad weather. I can hear the wind outside. Are you one of those people, you know, when you wake up in the middle of the night and it's really windy and rainy and it's like 3 o'clock in the morning and you feel all cozy because you haven't got to get up? I don't like those people because I used to do a paper round from the age of 11 till 16 and I used to wake up and think it was 3 o'clock in the morning, it was 6 and I'd have to go out in it. Michael Carrick's turned his back. It looks like he's crying. What's wrong with him? Sufyan, thank you very much for your super chat. Appreciate that. Thank you for everyone who's made a contribution tonight on those. Get some either ors in if you want. Start bench sells. I will continue on this forum. I'll bring it back in. Lots to talk about, of course, but we're about to hit half time here. I found a website where cabin crew from around the world give their opinions on celebrities they've had on their plane. And there are some footballers. I just need to find them. But this is demolition job for Middlesbrough. Theresa May, we're not interested in her. Come on, stop having a chat amongst yourself. Here we go, got a good list here. So here's a set of celebrities for you. Cross comes in for Chelsea. Edge of the box, Mudryk, bottles it, cleared away. Colin Firth, very polite, but can't say he did much for me looks-wise. His missus is stunning, though. Kristen Stewart, she was that Dracula thing, wasn't she? Polite, unassuming, and seemed a bit shy. Not starry at all. Said thank you when she was leaving as well. Joe Brand, cool lady. My friend had Jennifer Lawrence on her flight a couple of years ago with some of her friends before she really blew up. She said she was nice enough, but really loud and a bit obnoxious. I love this. Carol from Loose Women. Used to be married to Chris Evans. Wow, what a bitch. Kelly Osbourne, spoiled brat who has one of those whiny Brit accents. Sienna Miller, what a dumbass. I don't even know why she's famous besides Jude's Law. How can such a nobody have such a high opinion of themselves? Kirsty Allsop, she's a super lovely and exactly as she appears on telly. Really polite, and which is great. Kate Bush, lovely lady. I've got a footballer. So we're talking about, it's half time, it's 4-0. Chelsea are getting absolutely, they're battering Middlesbrough here. But I found a website where people who work on planes, basically they've got a forum talking about celebrities they've had on. And I'm just fascinated by this at the moment. Kate Bush, lovely lady and polite. Michael Owen, really nice, polite guy. But I have to say, I've never seen anyone with such an amazing pair of muscly glutes when he's walking down. There we go. Robbie Williams, demanding horrid chav with cocky arrogance. Ollie Moores. Oh, look, I love this person. I love this person. Silver Boy, who is works in the cabin crew. I mean, we can't refute whether it's true or not, but he's on the forum. Celebrities met while working on planes. He said Michael Owen's really nice. That sort of lost me there. But Ollie Moores, rude, chavvy, and wanted lots of attention. Robbie Williams demanding horrible chav. I don't know about that, but this is a brilliant website. We'll come back to that in a minute. Could you do a setup room tour, says Nicolas Cage? I'm sure I could. And Jamaica in the chat, say yo, says Tiago Brown. Who did you eat for dinner? Mate, that's disgusting. Disgusting. I didn't eat anyone for dinner. And the thought of it, I'm enough said there. But I had chicken fajitas for dinner with homemade guacamole and sour cream. Lovely, lovely stuff. Absolutely lovely. Why can't Michael Owen be a bad person, says Jaden? I just find him irritatingly incompetent when he's talking about football. Yeah, definitely. Chris Mullen said, you mentioned this on the podcast this afternoon. I did. Look, if anyone's got any football-related either-ors, let's get one going, because I have one lined up. You know, this is a football forum. I'm fully aware of that. Who would you rather have as your manager of your football club? Pep or Klopp? There you go. That's something for you to chew on. And if you've got any start bench sales, I'm happy to do some of those as well. But I am going to read some of this stuff out because I quite like it. Super FC Gaming says this is embarrassing. You know what? If I was a Middlesbrough fan, it is embarrassing, but I've got to be in defence of them. I have to say that the quality of the Championship is poor. It's really poor. And wait a minute, I can. It's really windy out there. 1 minute, I'm just going to have a quick look. I'll tell you what it's like. Knock myself out. I'll tell you what, that'd have been funny if I hadn't come back. I just went walking round to the back door because I could hear the wind. I went to open it, and you know when you take it off the latch, there's normally nothing. It's just in control of your hand. The wind, as soon as off the latch, the wind, woof. And luckily I've got strong arms because I just held it because I was like there. It would have knocked me out. Knocked out by a bloody door. I'm not joking. Like, I literally opened the latch and it was like that. And it was a good job it was my strong wrist. Imagine if I got knocked out and you lot had been like, where is he? It's windy out there. It's windy out there. There's me slagging off Virgin, and it might be something to do with the wind. I don't know. Rose says, hi Mark, how come you talk about Seb and Maddie but never your middle child? I feel bad for her. Not meant in a bad way at all. She's not my middle child, and she doesn't want to be spoken about, Rose. So you're absolutely fine. She's not interested in football and doesn't want to be spoken about, but she's not the middle child anyway. She's the oldest. Mark, Canate, Saliba and Upamecano start, bench, sell. Thanks for your super chat, by the way, Rose. Huncho says, how about that first half? Up the Chelsea. Love the content. Well, I did say Chelsea would win this game, but I've got to say, from a Middlesbrough point of view, I ain't good. You know, I don't know whether it's not good enough or just whether the Championship isn't good enough. But I've noticed it this season. When Luton and Sheffield United and Burnley came into the Premier League this year, I was like, why are they all so bad? Like, why are they all so far off teams like even Everton and Crystal Palace? They're not competitive. The Sunderland-Newcastle game really opened my eyes. And then here as well, the Championship clubs are just miles behind the Premier League. And I think there's two reasons for this. One, the Premier League is so competitive now. But two, the skill gap is massive. You know, you've got Fulham who can go and buy Sporting Lisbon's best midfielder at Fulham. Like, so when Fulham play, I don't know, Birmingham, they'll batter them if they want to. And it's never really been like that. We used to have 3 or 4 teams at the top of the league that were better than everybody else. And then from the mid-table down, the Championship could give them a game. Whereas now, I think we've probably got 14, 15 teams that can give everyone a game. And then they'll batter a Championship club. The gap's just too big. And that's because of the wealth that's in the Premier League. It's the downside of having a really strong Premier League is that everybody's really strong and they play the Championship teams and they just can't live with them. The gap's massive. Thank you very much anyway. Lee, thank you very much for your super chat. So Vishesh says, Mark, Canate, Saliba and Upamecano start, bench, sell. Get your questions in, by the way. We need lots of talk to talk about. Phoenix Studio says next storm be called Storm Goldbridge. Well, I was a bit angry when I was talking about Virgin, but I would start Saliba, I would bench Canate, and I would sell Upamecano. Vijesh, yeah. Charlie says start, bench, sell Garnacho, Anthony, Rashford. Well, I would start Garnacho, I would bench Rashford, and I would sell Anthony at the moment. And that could change. Hopefully that can change over the next few weeks and months. Jack says this Middlesbrough side is crap, but it could still beat Man United, which is sad to say. There we go. And when's Cooking with Goldbridge back, says Johan. Hopefully it will be back. Oh, look. Give the Sky guy a raise. He's just put formidable on there. See what I did? Formidable. Formidable. Have you ever been to Bristol? Yep. Blakey, I have. Yeah, I have been to Bristol. It wouldn't be in my top 10 cities I've visited in the UK. I'm more of a traditionalist. I like Chester. I like York. And then obviously your big cities. I do like Birmingham. I like Manchester. I like London. I need to go to Liverpool properly. I've been to Liverpool and I don't like Liverpool because I don't like Liverpool. I need to go to Liverpool because a lot of people say it's a fantastic city. I do need to go to Liverpool and just have a look around. So I've never really given Liverpool a chance, if I'm being honest. But I do like Chester. Chester's a fantastic, I don't know whether it is a city, but they've got a wall that you can just walk around. It's great. Yeah, Bath's lovely as well, Jason. I do like Bath, yeah. No, I'm not talking about Stoke. I'm born in Nottinghamshire, so I'm not really from Nottingham City, and I'm not a massive fan of Nottingham City, if I'm being honest. Yeah, Derby, never been. Bolton. They made Bolton look good on that Fool Me Once, I've got to say. Brighton's nice. I like Brighton. I've been to Brighton, Andy. Yeah. Look at this. Look at this. Football Fan TV. Get all your biggest YouTubers' football reactions on Football Fan TV. Trust me when I say this, 1 subscriber means a lot. There you go. Shout out to Football Fan TV. We don't mind doing that. On the poll, who would you rather have managing your football club, Pep or Klopp? 58% for Klopp. If we'd done that a year ago, it wouldn't have been anywhere like that. Have you ever been to Bournemouth? No, I've never been, the Don. Apparently it's nice, but I've never been. Mark, I haven't been, no. Josh Burke says, start, bench, sell, Salah, Foden, Saka. Well, I'll start Salah, I'll bench Saka, and I'll sell Foden because Salah's the best out of those three, and I do like Saka, so I'd have to sell Foden. Good start, bench, sell, though. Good start, bench, sell. Should we do another celebrity reveal on from cabin crew who've had celebrities on their planes? Some of these are American, so I'm sure there was one that had Gary Neville on it. That's why I wanted to do it. Here we go. This is a good one. He's listed loads. So Extra Dolly, who apparently is cabin crew on this forum, says the nicest people I've ever had on a flight were the real old-time movie stars. Lord Attenborough was an absolute delight. Anne Bancroft and Mel Brooks were hilarious. Other more up-to-date lovely guests have included Cameron Diaz, a delight, Beyonce, Bryan Adams, very polite, Michael Douglas was a gentleman, Victoria Beckham eats nothing and sleeps, the Saudi royal family and Greek royal family were a pleasure to serve. To be avoided, Ben Affleck, ignorant rude pig who slept with his Timberland boots resting on the top of the seat in front of him. The seat was occupied. Mick Hucknall proclaimed he would not eat his requested veg meal as it was shit. Elton John, absolute misery. Think he was upset it was an all-girl crew from LA to wherever. And Jerry Halliwell, precious princess whose finger was permanently attached to the call bell. Our purser was going to inform her we didn't need a princess. We already had Duchess in 1A. It's funny how three of those fours are gingers. Maybe this particular air stewardess didn't like people with ginger hair because she's talking about Cilla Black as well. But more of those to come soon. I'm addicted to this website. You know, I can't verify how true it is, but it is on a forum for people who work in the aviation industry, and it's all about who are the nicest celebrities, and obviously there's some that aren't that nice. Cilla Black gets mentioned loads, rest in peace, but apparently she was not all she was on screen. Surprise, surprise. Can Liverpool actually win the league this season, says Double Tap that. Yeah, of course they can. Of course they can. I mean, Arsenal can win the league. I don't think they will. As I said on the podcast, I don't think Arsenal can win the league because I don't think, well, they haven't got a striker. But I think that, of course, Liverpool can win the league. I still think that Man City will be favourites. Matt Ross says, would you rather go on a bender and get wasted with Mourinho or Klopp? Klopp. Or well, it depends, actually. Klopp would I don't like being out with people who can drink more than me. Because you get to that point where you know if you keep up with them, you're going to be throwing up and ill. So actually, Jose doesn't look like the sort of a person who's a big drinker. So, Klopp might be able to, probably would drink me under the table. So, but it'd be more of a laugh. I'd just bail early. What hurts more, Man City winning the league or Liverpool winning the league, says Doug. Always Liverpool. You ask a Liverpool fan, it will always be United over Everton. Always Liverpool, of course. But I think this year it's a little bit different. I've spoke to a few United fans about it, and they're like me. They don't really want to talk about it. Who would I rather win the league, Liverpool or Man City? I don't really want to have the conversation until I have to. And we might not be far off from that if Arsenal drop off. But, yeah, if Liverpool win the league, it's 20 times, which equals our record. If Man City win it, it's 4 in a row, which breaks our record, which they equaled with 3 in a row. Look, I think it probably would have to be Man City over Liverpool because of the rivalry, but who's to say that Liverpool won't win it next year? You can't live your life wanting other people to fail. You've got to do something about it. You can't rely on Arsenal to stop Man City or Chelsea to beat Liverpool in a cup final. We've got to do something about ourselves. And it could be the best thing in the world if Liverpool win the league because, Ineos are new in the job, and in the first few months, Liverpool win the league and equal our record. If you've not got a bigger motivator than that, what have you? United players are stars gone are the days managers matter, says Lee. Thank you very much, Lee. All right, I'm going to close that poll because Klopp beat Pep by 57%. It was a lovely finish by Disasi Usman. It was, I've got to say, it was fantastic. Please do subscribe to the channel, by the way. We are getting closer and closer to 1.1 million. So bottom right-hand corner to subscribe. Get involved with the channel. And don't forget, tomorrow night, Fulham against Liverpool to see who's going to play Chelsea. Because it will be Chelsea. But it's not necessarily over. At Craven Cottage, 2-1. Fulham are not out of it. They've been a good side this season, Fulham. Let's not dismiss the fact that they might be able to get back into it. So looking forward to that tomorrow night. That's our next watch along. But plenty more to get into for the next 45 minutes or so. Make sure you give us your comments. Appreciate that. And thank you very much for our new members tonight. Really appreciate that. Nice to see some badges in the chat. Some people were saying, why don't you do that more? So we're going to do more of that this year. Gems is a member and a legend as well. She says, Chris, he ain't coming back. I don't know who she's talking about. Run, baby, run. Thanks very much for your super chat there. Borough going to come back, says Abe. There's more chance of bloody Michael Jackson coming back, mate, and singing Bad on the pitch. What a comeback that would be. If you, I often think about this, you know. I often think when I'm trying to get, this is how I get to sleep at night. You know when you go to sleep at night, actually, how do you go to sleep at night? Do you just put your head on the pillow and see what happens? Or do you proactively do stuff? Now, you can't be too proactive. I don't mean down there. But you can tell yourself a story in the head. Like, I've said this before. I've been in Coronation Street for 25 years. And I just, you know, some nights I just tell the story of what's going on. I've saved people from fires. I've had a few illegitimate kids. It's, you know, I do that sort of stuff to just occupy my mind to get me to sleep. Whereas some people just go lie down, few deep breaths, asleep. I've completely lost my train of thought. What I was going to say. Idiot. But Chelsea are on the attack again. I can't remember what I was saying before that. I've lost it. Oh yeah, I know what I was saying. So sometimes, but sometimes I can't be bothered to be in Coronation Street. You know, Leanne Battersby's doing my head in. So I think about other stuff. And I was thinking about this the other week. I think it was just before Christmas. Couldn't get to sleep. So I was thinking, what would be the best comeback ever? And I was like, imagine if you were watching, like, you know, Ninja Warrior. With, I don't know whether they do it anymore, with Ben Shepherd. And they come back from an advert and they say, just before we carry on with Ninja Warrior, we've got a great big surprise for you. He's playing live for you now. And then they cut to the stage and then Michael Jackson comes up and does Bad. I was like, that would break the internet. I mean, I don't know why you do Ninja Warrior. I mean, you might want to do something a bit bigger than that. But imagine that. I'm not really dead. I'm back. And I'm bad. Do, 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 do. And then I was thinking as well, Meatloaf just turns up on Match of the Day. Gary Lineker says, Alan Shearer's not here today, but look who we've got. Meatloaf, he's not dead. He's here to talk about Sheffield United's bottom of the table clash with Burnley. How you doing, Meatloaf? You could have given me a better game than this. I said I'd come back and do anything, but I won't do this. Burnley against Luton. And he just gets up and walks out. Of course, there's some people you wouldn't want to come back. Not going to name any names, but Saville, Harris. You wouldn't want any of them back. I'd love to see Noel Edmonds come back on a Saturday night and say, we've booted Anton Deck. We've had enough of them. we've got Noel Edmonds back doing Noel's house party. I'd love that. Of course, Noel Edmonds isn't actually dead. I mean, his career's dead. I think apparently he lives in New Zealand now, but he could actually come back and do Noel's house party. I mean, obviously that would not be as shocking as Meatloaf on Match of the Day because he is dead. But I would like to see Noel Edmonds back on the telly doing Noel's house party. But yeah, that it's gone again. You can't watch TV at the moment as there's a connectivity problem. Kiss my arse. It'll come back in a minute. Yeah. And I fell asleep after that. I fell asleep after the Meatloaf one. But yeah, it would be good. New Zealand as an Aussie, all for that. Do it again, Mark, says Jake. We're back again now. You see, it's gone. Mudrick was quite injured there. Hannah says, big shout out to my boyfriend Connor. He supports United and got me into your content. He also has hair like Fellaini. Big shout out for Connor. There we go. Thank you very much. Aaron says, thank you very much for your super chat, Aaron. He says, Man United should bring in Ainge. He has skill of Pep and Klopp to get best out of players. Just look at his first season at Celtic. De Zerbi at Brighton is overrated, says Aaron. Well, let's do a poll. I've drank a lot of that water. Who's a better manager? Either or. I mean, I think there's a lot of recency bias with Ange, if I'm being completely honest. And also, I don't think he'd leave Spurs for Man United, but... Calm says, I'd love to see Amy Winehouse suddenly appear on Loose Women. Be a great show. I can't believe there's a programme on prime time TV called Loose Women, and they're happy with it. I mean, it means something completely different to me and my mates when we used to go out. Fair play, though. Fair play. Brommer said, I'd love it. I'd love to turn the bake-off off and... sorry, let me get this right. I'd love to turn the bake-off on and see John Lennon, George Harrison and Ringo Starr all back from the dead. Ringo Starr's not dead. Ringo's still alive. But yeah, John Lennon turning up on the bake-off as a comeback. I've always loved making bread. Mark, I might sound crazy here, but I truly believe United will win cups consistently. It's inevitable with the board members. It's just 1 + 1 is 2, says Lee. I hope you're right, Lee. I really do hope you're right. I'll have some of that. I'll tell you that for free. Middlesbrough are 4-1 down on aggregate here. They've got a free kick to whip across into the box. It'd be nice for their travelling fans if they could score a goal. No, not going to happen from there, I'm afraid. Although, they've picked it up again. I mean, the fact that they can't even control the ball has been Middlesbrough's biggest problem. But the cross comes in and they clear it away. I wonder if Chelsea will take their foot off the pedal a little bit here, or whether they'll just keep pushing for more goals. From a confidence point of view, it's probably not a bad idea to keep pushing, is it? But I guess we'll see. Yeah, I will be doing a Super Bowl watch along. Looking forward to it. It's one of my favourite streams of the year. It's just different. There's something really. If you're not into NFL, all I'll say is watch the Super Bowl watch along I'm doing. Is it 2 weeks on Sunday or is it 3 weeks on Sunday? I think it's 2 weeks on Sunday. It might be 3 weeks on Sunday. Could be 2 weeks on Sunday. I don't know. But it starts at about 11:30 and it goes on till about 4 o'clock in the morning. And it's just a really interesting stream. And I get a load of American sweets and stuff and sodas, and we just have a sugar-filled stream. And yeah, it's always a good one. If Chelsea gets to the final and lose, or United gets sixth, who would have the better season? This is FPL Fozzie. Look, I think Man United and Chelsea, as a minimum, have got to get in the Europa League. So this is an opportunity for Chelsea to get into the Europa League and not be too concerned about the league. Takes the pressure off them. Chelsea are not going to get top four, are they? I mean, let's have a quick look at the league table. But looking at that league table right now. Can we get the league table up, please? There we go. Yeah, Chelsea have got 31 points and they are 12 points off Aston Villa. Yeah, I don't think you can do a 12-point gap. I think this league's way too competitive. So, yeah, I think if Chelsea can get Carabao Cup out the way, they know they're in the Europa League, and they don't have to stress about potentially being in the conference. Is Broha. I mean, what's your thoughts on that? Broha, 50 million quid. What prat's going to buy Broha for 50 million quid? It's not Conference League for winning the Carabao Cup, it's Europa. No, it's not. It's Europa. I'm pretty sure. Well, it was last year when we won the Carabao Cup, we went into the Europa League. Conference League is 7th, I'm sure. A lot of people are saying it's conference. I'm sure last year when United won it, it was Carabao. It was Europa. Carabao is Conference League. I'm going to have to check this now. What's the point then? Yeah, you're right. Top four in the Premier League qualify for the Champions League. 5th and FA Cup winners enter the Europa League, and the winners of the Carabao qualify for the Conference League. I thought 7th place was Conference League. Maybe it's just dependent on who wins what. If Liverpool win the Carabao Cup, but they're in the Champions League, it just moves down the league, doesn't it? I think that's what happens. That's what we used to happen about. That's what we used to happening. Oh, Jacob says it's 7th is the Conference League if the winner of the Carabao Cup finishes higher. Well, remember, there is still a possibility that 5th place in the Premier League could get a Champions League spot. If Man City and Arsenal and Liverpool and Brighton and Aston Villa all do well in Europe, which they probably will. Brighton are taking the Europa League very seriously. Villa are going to take the Conference League very seriously. I don't know about Liverpool in the Europa, but Man City and Arsenal will take the Champions League seriously. There is still a chance that that we could that it could happen. Oh, found it! I found it. Here's another one from the forum. Get ready for this because it's got a well-known footballer in it. This forum, I must say, is called pprune.org. It's a forum for cabin crew, and they're talking about who the nicest celebrities are. So this is from the 13th of August 2015, so nearly 10 years ago. This is from one of the posts. Bjork is a really polite but a bit shy. Slept most of the time. Lovely. Cyndi Lauper, lovely and very helpful. Michelle Pfeiffer, impeccable manners. Nicki Minaj, arrogant and bitchy, kept saying yo-yo for attention. Gary Neville, loud, gobby, no manners, council estate attitude. Bloody hell. Scary spice, no class or refinement whatsoever, awful, loud attitude and rude and intimidating. Typical rough northern air about her. Not my words. The words of this forum, who are all apparently people who work in cabin crew, talking about celebrities. Gary Neville, loud gobby, no manners. Look, you can catch people on a bad day, can't you? Worst celebrity I ever came into contact with was Alison Hammond, who basically went down a one-way street and was told to turn back, and then was going, "Do you know who I am?" And this was when she'd been on Big Brother. This was before she was on bloody Bake Off. This was about 13 years ago. At the Bull Ring, there's a road that goes under the Bull Ring, and she was trying to go under there, and she got stopped and told to go turn around, and she was like, "Do you know who I am?" And it was like, not really. I did know who she was because I did used to watch Big Brother. But she might have changed now. It might have just been a bad day. But she desperately wanted to go up that tunnel. And she was told no. Perks of celebrity, I suppose. Third Eye says, my dad flew with Mick Hucknall from Simply Red for the oldies here and said he was a complete bell to everyone in his path. Mick Hucknall's on there loads. Him and Cilla Black get mentioned loads. Apparently, you know, imagine being like that though, as a celebrity. Imagine being an absolute knobhead. I mean, look, there are knobheads. You meet them all over the place. There's certainly some in this space that you wouldn't believe. Some you would believe. But I just don't understand lack of manners and ideas above your station. You're a human being. Everyone else is a human being. You're not better than anybody. Nobody's better than anybody. I don't care whether you're Cristiano Ronaldo or Ronald McDonald. You're not better than anybody. Respect is earned. Don't treat other human beings like shit. I just don't get it. But there's plenty of celebrities like that, unfortunately. When the camera's turned off, they love themselves. I've got one here for you, Mark. If you had the choice of any celebrity as your best man, who would it be, says Matt. Well, I'm of the firm opinion that meeting your heroes is not a good idea, because I'd be so disappointed if David Beckham was a knobhead in real life. And I'm not going to say he's not a knobhead in real life, by the way, because, all right, he did a Netflix documentary, but, you know, action. Hey, up, everybody, let's have a dance. I love my kids, you know, he looks absolutely fantastic, but I don't necessarily know whether he is like that, but I'd be devastated if he wasn't. I think David Beckham is, I'd be terrified to meet him because he's mates with Gary Neville, and he might just go, I've heard about you, I don't like you, and then I'd be like crying. I'd be like, I've liked you all my life. You've been one of my role models all my life, and you don't like me because of fucking Neville. So, yeah, I'd be terrified to meet him because I just wouldn't want him not to be nice. My mum met Priscilla Presley on a work flight, says Aaron McKenzie. You'll be all right if you meet me, Danny. I've always had good manners, and I've been brought up to respect people, so you've got no problem with me. No problem with me at all. I very rarely get angry in public. Having said that, I realise what I just did about half an hour ago. Matt says, Noel's house party, generation game, you bet, big break. What you ranking them, Mark? That's a dream Saturday night. You know, 6 o'clock, generation game. 7 o'clock, Noel's house party. No, actually, you bet would be after that. Big break would be before that. What an evening. You know what? You've just took me back to prime childhood. We were spoiled. Although I have enjoyed the Gladiators being back. I have enjoyed that. Oh, God. Lee Berman says, 5 aside, but it's animals. What you having? Starter for you, an octopus in goal. It'd be dead, mate. You put an octopus out of water and it's just dead. It looks like a bloody moose. And not one with horns. I mean like a blancmange. It's just going to be a waste of time. You're acting like we're playing a cartoon. Put a cat in goal. Put a lion in goal, and if it treats it like my cat treats a little ball, be fine. Put a polar bear at centre-back, it's going to kill everybody in the opposition. JP says, what are your thoughts on Bradley Walsh and his son? You'll have to check the podcast out from last week. I don't actually... I may as well just say it. I think Bradley Walsh is quite funny, but his son, in my opinion, is on the telly because of who his dad is. I've said it now. I can't take it back. You pause on United stand sometimes. You're reading something, says Lee. Yeah. And why is Ange winning? Jonathan says, I've met Steve Coogan and Rob Brydon, very polite and courteous. If you have met any celebrities and you want to tell us any stories, then please do. Of course, that's going to open up the chat to lies. But, I mean, I've met a lot of celebrities and most of them are... I mean, look, the two nicest celebrities I know are Danny from The Script and Gary Barlow. Really nice guys. Considering they're lead singers for two massive bands, The Script and Take That. Just really nice guys. And that, to me, is what people should be like. Doesn't matter how talented you are. Doesn't matter how, successful you are. You shouldn't lose sight of manners and upbringing and respect. I saw David Walliams outside Talk Sport last year, Gerald. He made eye contact with me, but I don't ask for autographs, so I didn't talk to him. Met Carragher once, genuinely nice lad, says Shush. That's going to open up a load of things. Do you like Traitors, says Aaron McKenzie. I haven't watched it, but I'm not. That's not to say I wouldn't like it. I've just not watched it. What do you think about Ryan Giggs? I did an on stage show with Ryan Giggs, and it was he was absolutely fine on stage. Barely got to talk to him off it. Everything went through his agent. It was a little bit disappointing because I had a list of questions and a lot of them got crossed out, and I was like, lots of people have paid a lot of money for this, and the questions aren't even bad. I mean, he was Wales manager at the time, and I just had a question about Gareth Bale, who was at Real Madrid, and whether Gareth Bale would be a good fit for Man United if he decided to move in the summer. Refused to answer it because he was Wales manager. So, but that was, I don't know whether Ryan Giggs refused to answer it, but yeah, it was absolutely fine on stage, but there was no opportunity to have a chat before it all went through his agent. So, would you rather fancy your chances against 30 Swans or 5 Rhinos, says Doug Judy. I tell you who was really nice, Paddy Crerand, met him. What a guy, really good chat with him. United legend, really nice guy. Mark, I went to school with Aaron Scholes and was suspended for punching him in the face. His dad made me be nice, but his son is the worst, says Amir Khan. Well, that's a different story, isn't it? Kids of famous people. I went to a school where there was a nice village that was in our school catchment area. So rich kids. And, there was some of them were all right. They played in the football team, but some of them complete and utter privileged twats. And I suppose you might get that with kids of footballers, some of them, because it's like being spoilt from birth, isn't it? It can be. Alex says, my mate grew up with Ryan Giggs, a great lad, then became a right prick once famous. Well, I have sympathy with a lot of footballers, especially today. You go from being a normal lad to being paid thousands of pounds when you're 16. You don't really grow up until you're 20, so you've got 5-6 years of everyone telling you great. when you actually should be growing as a person. This is a true story, says Matt Ross. I went to school with Raphael Cantona. My mum accidentally rammed my baby bro's pram into Eric's ankles and nervously burst into laughter, says Matt. But what did he do next? He didn't kung fu kick her, did he? If the plural of goose is geese, why is mouse not meese, says Marshall. And on that story, we'll leave it. Ange is beating De Zerbi by 55%, by the way, in that poll, so I think we'll close it down. LFC Gamer says Peter Kay's a nice top bloke, but I've never met him. I would imagine so. The same with Ricky Gervais, isn't it? I'd imagine he's a nice bloke in real life. I think stand-up comedians, I mean, I have no experience of this, but I would imagine that stand-up comedians are probably nice people in real life in the main, because you've got to be able to understand people to be able to do that. And if you understand people, you're normally capable of conversing with people as well. Absolute gent, David Beckham, says Ryan Miller. I've done a lot of stuff with Paul Ince. I really liked him. Some people said he's difficult before I met him. I got on with him quite well. He reminded me of one of my uncles, so very similar personality. So I really liked Paul Ince. Ben Foster, obviously, is a really nice guy. I'm trying to think of footballers. I mean, obviously, I do speak to quite a few footballers at the moment, but I don't want to start saying that, because then if I start going, oh, what a nice guy, you'll know. So I'm not going to do that. But I'm going to finish FC24. It's back probably on Friday afternoon. Would you rather Liverpool or City win the league, says Rahul. Unfortunately, Rahul, you've asked the question I won't answer at the moment, because Arsenal and Villa are still in the equation. So I would rather Arsenal or Villa win the league. When it gets to a two-horse race between Liverpool and Man City, I will decide. But what I would say is I think Liverpool have been the best team in the league this year. I don't think Man City have really got going yet, but obviously they've got a certain De Bruyne back now. Ethan says, I met Gervais in Marlow at an Italian restaurant. My friend asked him to take a photo of us, the joke being everyone wants a photo with him. Nice one, Ethan. He probably appreciated that. Wes Brown is a really nice guy. Yeah, really, really nice. I played at Old Trafford in a game with him in Ji-sung Park, and had a chat with him after the game, and I basically said, you know what, you're actually older than me. And he was quite surprised by that, because obviously of my youthful good looks. And I said, you're older than me. And he said, you get around quite well then, because I can't move like that. And he was talking to me about his knees and how they're knackered and stuff like that. And then somebody from United came along and said, Wes, we need you for a photo. And I was like, you fucking idiot. I was just going to say, let's go and have a pint and a chat. But it was a brief conversation, but he was a nice guy. Aren't the Woke Brigade trying to cancel Gervais, says Kenneth? Yeah, jog on. Jog on. Oh, you know, I had a complaint. You know, Driving with Goldbridge. If you've not watched Driving with Goldbridge on my channel, watch the first couple of minutes. Basically, hypothetically, I was talking about wrestling moves on some rude mothers who where I drop Seb off to school, and I had a complaint about abuse against women. I was like, the world's gone bloody mad. It's a hypothetical joke situation about wrestling moves that are actually fake. If you stone cold stun anybody, it's not fucking real. And I had somebody complaining saying that's abuse against women. I was like, well, one, I'm very opposed to that. As I'm sure everybody is actually. Goldbridge is opposed to abusing women. Wow, give him a bloody medal. Of course, everybody should be opposed to that. But I couldn't believe it. I was like, one, it's a hypothetical scenario. I'm very much in the Gervais camp here. You know, if you listen to some of the stuff he says, if he actually did it, he'd be in prison. But it's hypothetical, and it's comedy, and it's a joke. And the reason I used wrestling moves and not boxing was because wrestling isn't bloody real. So if you do a wrestling move, if you do a stone cold stunner on your gran, you're not knocking her out and sending to an early grave. She'll get up smiling because it's all theatre. I used to love the sharpshooter, FPL Fozzie. I said to the wife today, actually, the dog was getting on my nerves, and I said, if it doesn't get in its basket in a minute, it's going to get some sweet chin music. And she was like, what's that? And I was like, why did I marry you? Why did I marry you? You don't know what sweet chin music is? Ugh. Just walked out. I said, put my dinner in the oven, I'll have it later. Who was your first celebrity crush, says LFC Gamer? Kylie Minogue. Shell says, I met Alan Shearer and he ignored me. That's what I mean. I mean, look, everybody's got the right to behave how they want to behave in their own time. You know, you could meet me and I could go, fuck off. It's all an act. I'm not interested in you. Just give me super chats and watch my stream. And hopefully I'd get outed for being like that. But it's so disappointing, isn't it? And why, you know, Alan Shearer could be the nicest guy in the world. He could be the boringest person in the world. He could be a knobhead. But it does affect people. I've seen it. You know, I went to school with people that, you know, really good lads at school. And, you know, now they've had a bit of success and they're complete knobheads. You know, you'll be on a WhatsApp group and the same people get mentioned. Remember him at school? What a nice guy. Fucking idiot. You know. Mark should do a WrestleMania watch-along, says Don. I did one in COVID. It was bloody horrible. Would you take Man United winning the league if the price was your mum slipping on a doorstep and needing a new hip? Says Max. Yeah. And Nat says, it's a small sacrifice to play, and she supports United anyway. And she's not getting any younger. And, you know, you know, my gran had a new hip and never knew about it. So, you know, I'd be disappointed if she didn't take a tumble for us. I shouldn't have to ask in that situation. Talking about Phillips in England, Mark, who would you start in the midfield and where? Jude, Rice and Foden are musts for me. Yeah, you might go Trent, Jude and Henderson, and Rice, sorry. I think we're going to win the Euros. I'm really excited about the Euros. I'm not a big fan of Southgate, as you know, and that will never change. But I think we're going to win the Euros. I think we've got players that are too good. 5-0, and there's one of them that might, well, has to be going to the Euros. Cold Palmer, 5-0. Gallagher as well, I'd take him. Colwell, I'd take him as well. 5-0. And there's just so many good players for England. I mean, Cole Palmer. There's an outside chance he might take Kobe Mainoo. Conor Gallagher's doing well. Colwell's doing well. Foden, Bellingham, Rice, Kane, Saka. There's just so many players. I think we're going to win the Euros. I think it's going to be a good summer. I'm very excited about it. And you know what? I'll never want England to lose just because I don't like Southgate. And I think we're going to win it. I think we're going to win it. Met that Jimmy fella as a kid. Top bloke, says Jack. Huckle says, I met Ryan Giggs at a closed Wales training session when I was a kid. Excited to meet my hero. He was a miserable bastard and fobbed me off. What do you think of Scholes' feet thing, says KFJ? I don't need to get involved in that. Zach says, advice for a really bad heartbreak, Mark. You've come to the right place. You've come to the right place. Heartache means you care. It means you're a good person. But if it sounds to me like you've been dumped, Zach, you don't get heartbreak if you're the one getting dumped. Look, for every winner, there's a loser. And you're a loser, Zach, in love. What doesn't... You know, these things make you stronger. For whatever reason, this is not the horse that you're going to win the race on. You need to get another horse, get on that horse and start riding again. But you've got to grieve. You've got to get over it. And I've been there, Zach. Hypothetically, I've thought what it must be like to get dumped. But, you know, some people have to go through that. It's just not the person for you. And who knows why. You know, maybe you left a shit in the toilet. Maybe they just... Who knows? But it's over. Don't go back. Don't look back. Allow yourself to grieve, because that's the wound, and you need that wound to heal. How do you heal that wound? Exercise is great. Watching stuff like this is better. Community. Get out there and do things you want to do. And as soon as possible, get back on the horse and start riding it. Get out there, says Lee Berman. Exactly. Ultimately, It's their loss. It's their loss. It's not your fault. Do a France-England combined 11, says Vishesh. I've got to catch up on these first. Done that. Talking point, we've done that. Done that. Nats, thank you very much. 5-4 to Middlesbrough. I put 18,000 rubles on it, says Emmanuel Knight. Well, that's gone. Who do you think will get into the playoffs, says Kenzie? I'd have to know it. I'd have to know something about the championship for that. Could be 6. It is. It's 6-0. Madueke. I think Borough have done quite well to make it only 6. Embarrassing, really. Embarrassing. Poor old Karaki. Jack says Borough were on Spice tonight. Well, let's have a look at the championship. I don't have a league table for that. We don't need that. Middlesbrough are 11th, but they're only 3 points off the playoffs. Oh, they're having a good time now. They're all singing about it. Leicester will get promoted. I think Southampton will get promoted. And I think it will be Ipswich, Leeds, and then it could be 2 from quite a few, couldn't it? Norwich could get back into it. Coventry are doing very well at the moment. Hull could get in there. West Brom, you'd fancy them as well. I mean, I'd like to see an Ipswich or a Coventry come up, simply because they haven't had the parachute payments. I think the parachute payments are such a... Oh, a goal for Borough! 6-1! Or is he offside? No, they've not given it. Offside. You miserable get. Look at him. He's been down the gym in January. Miserable git. Have a pie. Give him a goal. If this is close. Oh, it's close as well. Give him it. They could have given that. It was good. It was good officiating, really, because it was offside. Shall I see if I can find anything else about people who'd been on cabin crew? I will do anything for love. Meatloaf on Match of the Day. What a comeback. Here's one. Margot Robbie was on a flight recently that I was working on. Really lovely and chatty, very small and much younger looking than she appears on screen. That's just lovely to know about Margot Robbie, isn't it? I think we're all happy tonight to know that Margot Robbie is actually really lively and lovely and chatty in real life and actually looks younger than she does on screen. I mean, I don't think we'd care whether Margot Robbie was a bit of a bitch. We'd probably go, she's you know, she's very busy. But the fact that she's really nice in real life, it just makes it even better, doesn't it? What an actress she is. Then again, if you meet an actor or an actress on an airline and they're nice to you, how do you know if they're not acting? Good point. Good point. Hugh Jackman, nicest man ever. One of the stewardesses had accidentally covered herself in champagne and he was concerned for her welfare. Also offered to have a photo taken with the crew. I like Hugh Jackman. I won't do anything for love. but I won't do that. Castle Dean's coming on for Sterling. Oh, there's another one about Mick Hucknall here. Bumped into him in a late bar at Marriott Courtyard in Tbilisi. You'd have thought he'd have been upgraded to the real Marriott in the city. One of the crew called him a ginger-headed git to his face, and he was not happy. There we go. Oh, well, how do I get back to page 1? Why don't I get back to page 1? I was enjoying that. Elvis on The Masked Singer dressed as an avocado, says Will Morris. That would be great. Phoenix Knights or Max and Paddy? Well, I tell you what, I don't like this. I would love to watch Phoenix Knights or Max and Paddy, but I can't bloody watch it because I've only got it on DVD and I got rid of my DVD player years ago. So I can't bloody watch it. Why can't I watch Max and Paddy or Phoenix Knights on the telly? It's a joke. It's an absolute... I'm happy to pay for it. There's 30 quid in your pocket, Peter K there. Play horror games and how to escape my shyness on a girl, says Azugo. And do you reckon there's any aspect of football you're better at than any single Premier League player, for example, better at free kicks than Lindelof? I'll be loads, Esto. Absolutely loads. I'm better with my left foot than most of the Premier League. Like, the modern pro is absolutely useless with their weak foot. I'm playing left-footed at the moment because my right foot's been injured for 6 months. So any videos you see of me doing stuff, I'm playing left-footed and I'm actually right-footed. So, yeah. I can't put it in my PS5 because my PS5 hasn't got a disc drive. It's not on YouTube. It's just little clips on YouTube. Oh, mate. No, I'm not even joking there. The modern footballer and their ability on their weak foot is terrible. Absolutely terrible. Goal! Middlesbrough! He's done it! Rodgers! Kenny Rodgers! You do something to me and I can't explain. Hold me closer and I feel no pain and the message is clear. We got something going on. Tender love is blind. It requires nowhere. I can't forget it now. But the comeback's on. It's a great goal as well. Well, keeper probably should do a little bit better, but it's from the outside the box. Right-footed, cuts inside, bends it, and it's a good finish. It's a very good finish. You know what? If he did that in the Prem, that's a really good finish. I don't think the keeper can do anything. It's a lovely finish. There you go. I feel happy for the Borough crew now. They've got something to go home with. Lovely goal. Keanu Reeves is one of the nicest people ever. There are lots of examples and stories of being a stand-up guy and humble guy as well, says Jack. Thanks for that. Jack, love that. Always nice to hear that. I found another one now. Give us a name. Oh, I tell you what. I've got a celebrity story, and they're dead, so it don't really matter. You know, Bullseye. It's only a game, so put up a real big fight. You know, Jim Bowen. I was a waiter. I was working as a waiter in a cocktail bar. I wasn't. I was working as a waiter at a golf club for a function, and he was there, and he was doing, obviously he was a bit of a comedian as well, so he was doing a bit of a stand-up bit in front of this function, and there was about 6 of us, because it was quite a big function, like, you know, getting drinks and stuff, and he was just about to start, and he pointed at this girl who was about 10 metres away from me, who was a waitress, and he said, "You and your lot can get out, you haven't paid for it, so you're not listening to it." And I thought, you know, I was only about 17, and I thought, what an absolute cock. You know what? If it had been now, I would have said it, but I wasn't like that back then. So we all had to go out. All the waiters had to go out. So, because we hadn't paid to see his stand-up. I thought, what an idiot. What an absolute dickhead. And look, he might have been the nicest guy in the world, but that genuinely happened. Agree that the next VAR mistake should see Mr. Webb forced to ref every weekend with 60 grit sandpaper strapped to the underside of his member, says Max. There we go. Have you ever met a member of the royal family, says FPL? No. Not Jared Bowen. He ain't got any good jokes. Jim Bowen. His dad. Last goal wins, says Che. And that's the real quiz. That's the real quiz. Middlesbrough win because they scored the last goal. And that's the real quiz. Tom says you should have done his 3-2-1 with your hand and given him the trip finger. That's not him. That's Ted Rogers. That's Dusty Bin. I've enjoyed this. I'm going to do more of it. Apparently Diana Ross is not a nice person. Bit of a diva. Cilla Black, she's everywhere. She can't defend herself now, though. She's dead. So it's a bit unfair. I wish people had actually started naming people. They're just talking about Cilla Black on here. I'll be doing this on my own. Oh, well, here we go. Here we go. This is what I mean about this. Don't take it as read. I've heard through the grapevine that Gary Barlow is not very approachable. Well, I know that's bollocks. Absolute bollocks. I messaged Gary in November because my friend was dying of cancer on a Sunday, and I said, look, I'm only going to ask because he'll be dead in a couple of weeks. And him and his family take that. And I had a video message back from him within like 2 minutes. So I'm not having anything negative said about Gary Barlow because that's a true story. So it just shows you people can write any old shit, can't they? Patrick Stewart's not very nice, apparently. Not doing about Jade Goody because she's dead. That's not very nice. The great thing about Celebrity Big Brother is there was nowhere to hide then. You found out what celebrities were on there. I know they were B-list and everything, but... negotiation manager Sam Barnett has left Manchester United, says Mario Franco. And Nat Nail says, can you stop the agenda against Scott? It's not an agenda, mate. He's not very good at football. That's not an agenda. Full time! Full time, 6-1. Carrick's probably happy to get away with that. 4-0 down at half-time. 2-1 second half. That's 6-1. 6-2 on aggregate. He probably breathed a sigh of relief with that one, I reckon. Because it could have been a lot worse. Could have been a lot worse there. What a show. Thank you, everybody. You know, to have like 9,000 of you tuned in when this game was basically over after half an hour just shows the sort of conversation and time we have here as a community, because that's what we are. You're absolute legends. Love that. Don't forget, tomorrow it will be a better game. Fulham, Craven Cottage. We're back in London. Liverpool 2-1 up. I think that'll be a more interesting game. And obviously, I will see you tomorrow night for that one as well. Appreciate it. There's a good video on the channel at the moment that you can watch about VAR, but I would implore that, and can I just say big high five to the 5 new members. Thanks for getting your badges in and supporting the channel. It means a lot. Love the show, says Lee. And I'm going to shout it out, and I'm not going to apologise. Please do subscribe because we're on the road to 1.1 million. But more importantly, please check out the podcast. Please check out the podcast. Goldbridge Saves Football with me and Will. That's Football's going from strength to strength, and we really want to get that podcast building as a movement, because we talk about all the good stuff on there. We're trying to, make football better for fans. Even if we're just talking about it, the bigger it gets, the more it will get heard. So please do tell your friends and go and give it a listen, even if it's your first listen now, just while you're trying to pop off to sleep or something. I listen to a lot of podcasts, actually, at the end of the day. It's better than watching TV or being on your phone, because it's, white light and all that. Listen to the podcast, Goldbridge Saves Football. I'll speak to you in a bit. Available on Spotify and iTunes. Take care.